The Journalism Scapegoat, Chapter 1. Now, if my calculations are correct, for every step by step, guided, meditated equity of liquid payment, technically to perform a art such as putting out a disc, you have to turn the faucet on blast. Like you gotta run the water. Somewhere in there, running like from the game and all these characters, where do I find like this hidden gem, this hidden seal character in journalism as a Kappa going all the way back from a journal in school, a math journal in kindergarten, to a reporter's guide at a secondary post university. Now, I'm thinking, if I take somebody like one of your favorite celebrity OGs and report how they do work in his name that like highly illegal, it could be from climate change to just being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, if my calculations are correct, if the album from the run, from having one hell of a run, if it came back that it was all blasphemy for an artist, some shit it knew not to do. What's the calculations of the parameters of every groundbreaking era up until now? Like to say that a journal runs off tap, the number is tapped a certain kind of way. If everybody number tapped, like the perfect storm, dog. Like on graduation day, it was about making choices and just leading up to this, like a forecast of the day. And I'm thinking to myself, somewhere in there, everybody has a number, everybody has a ticket, something. Of all places to find the water running ass backwards, even if you could cap a salary to run fluidly in the wrong direction, but the whole key is the scapegoat as the journalist, the reporter's guide. To say getting from point A to point B in like a capital like journalistic form of every guided step by step, play by play, pump for Turney, that if we lose this character, we lose, let's just say hip hop dies or the R&B game, life as we know it would not exactly have the characters as the world was presented at thought. And to think where, once again, the whole tap on the number is like a sealed tap. In order to master like the character, you got to get into some of the sealed numbers. Most kids would have graduated, um, got their degrees, and lived their life. But at some point in time, everybody knows for every line of work, there's like a sealed character, an anti character, whether it be yourself or the most miserable stalking motherfucker there is that just want the food on your plate. But somewhere in there, looking at all these cell tap numbers, how fast could a faucet get from point A to point B and without bloodshed? And that's just one one journalist to another that yeah, a lot of crimes are reported, but to have one pending against your favorite celebrity, there's been examples of like your favorite celebrity like having his album on blast, you know what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden, somebody puts ass backward, and the ass cap, like exactly what it was, an ass cap. But what is a is like your own status in the world? No little kid shit, not for play. And still, even the art of like recopying files, deleting them, or just burning files, it's still a certain still tap on it, even through the fire and the wire. I mean, where it is like, there were movies like Superfly, where Scatter, he got took out as soon as it was made. But what was the actual run up on the tap on the album? Like to actually possess Superfly, you run the tap, it's supposed to clean it. But for all the boss characters to come up missing, A, did we run through like a volatile system of like characters who we portrayed as fans, but at the same time, these fans have their own systematic drama, like theory, theological theater, theology, the thought of it just the one. And all this focused concentration on like a new era thug. Like, what am I looking for? What was the one gemstone that explained, even as a sealed wire, a sealed tap number, how is it even possible to be a scapegoat without actually having the defined journalism like confiscated? It's other C's for that. Like a high C, confiscated. Um, of course, you have stuff like classical reverence, congregational. But even still, like the oddest part of like the tab number, something simple as the cover of an album could like issue out like a cell character of like visions. I'm not gonna say dreams and nightmares, because we're not living exactly as we would portray it to be. I mean, of course, that still exists in times. But looking at how they said people have visions before time of the world coming to an end. Like, and it's still leading up into that point. Why would nobody hit the recap button? The recap how it led up to the point. You telling me as long as the world's been the evolution of like the pollution to my goddamn ears, you telling me nobody asked Cap on fixing the cap, on the files, fixing the cap on the album, to take a turn and like canal the shit out of it? Like there is just a stream, an invisible stream of dreams, visions, collisions, all building up to like this dramified, godly episode from our encounters with every type, metallic, silver, brass, all God given creations of just a deep thought about the end result being through a journalist. The only one making it out right now is the damn journalist. The ones that report the shit. But even still, even being a journalist, you somewhat feel like death threats through every article, but it's complicated. And that's just want to grow on. Every year we get older and we get wiser, we get a little bit softer, get a little bit harder. But what defines like the journalist to the actual cell character? Do you ever think before you do a crime, there's somebody out there that has to tell you a story And looking in the beginning to the scapegoat, that wasn't necessarily the story he wanted to tell. So at the end of the day, the end result, whose story are you telling? And what was the ass cap on it? Like, was it to get back? Was it to be continued? Like, well, did our hell break loose? Was it the apocalyptic times of all fucking times? Like, Jay-Z had songs like Fuck Up the World. Looking at the state of the world and the sun just swallowed Jupiter. The word is more people turning than the sunshine a little bit. And that's just Wanna Grum. The scapegoat of Wanna Grum.